All right, welcome back. It's now 7 minutes past 7 a.m. It's a brilliant Monday morning, of course. Now let's get into the whole discussion. Talk about politics being a brilliant Monday, and we just want to focus on what's happening in the country, politically speaking, and to make sense of everything. I have got able panelists already in studio. Justin Wamai, who is champion for economic recovery, already in studio, and Wafula Mutacho, who is the Ford Kenya chairperson, Trans Nzoia County. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Morning, Victor.
Karibu sana Mwami. Good morning.
Morning, Mwami.
Unajua mwanaume asipokusalimia kuna kitu.
Yes, in African tradition, salam is very important. Salam is very important than anything. Anasema better deny me food and give me a good salam.
Salamu.
Yes.
Wewe mbona unisalimii siku hizi na kuona sana, you know? Good to see all of you.
Thank you.
Schools are closed.
Yes.
They're back home. We're just talking about how to hide the remote and all that with my colleagues. Omami, what do you think about that?
You know, even I didn't know that schools are closed because I don't have anyone who is schooling now.
Okay, very good. But the whole idea is the whole aspect of parenting and parenthood right now is somewhat changing. Because they are going to come back home and the only thing they want to do is to either be on phone, there is Wi-Fi, that's it.
Correct.
And they want to be on television from morning to evening. Justina, just remind us, when you are young, what are some of the normal chores you'd do when your mom would leave going for the chama or going to the market and should leave an instruction?
For me, I grew up in Nairobi, so maybe the general chores were washing the dishes.
Yes.
Being told that your brother must, maybe hang a brother, akule food, akule lunch, because my mom was working that time. So if he didn't have a house help, then I'm the one who should take care of doing the dishes, giving him food, and then waiting for mom. She wasn't allowing us to go outside and play. Actually, when I look back, I didn't really play much. I used to stay indoors. So TV, I was addicted to TV at that time. Yes.
But then come to it.
Yes.
Ofula.
Yes.
Parenthood way back in the days, is it different from what we are experiencing right now?
Quite different. Like my time when I was alone at home or free, I could be either looking for cattle or in the riverbank selling sugarcane. You know, we used to grow this tube of sugarcane. So I could either selling sugarcane there or in Nduma. You know, we had a very big area plantation of Nduma. Now I could either selling that or sugarcane or looking for cattle. Now I grew up in the village. Nowadays, even my son, if I tell him, you need to look for cattle, and I say, now how will I start? It will
Ngumu.
Ngumu. It's very difficult. You can't go even in the shamba. This is modern children. So it is quite different with the today. Quite different.
Okay.
But these days we control with the phone. We don't hide the remote.
You
switch off the TV.
Even you chungang with the remote.
You have everything, some password. That is akin to what you're experiencing in the country right now when it comes to politics, because the way politics was being played years ago has completely changed. And that is why I want us to bring, just to bring that example, parenthood and now the politics we are experiencing in the country. Our topic of discussion is truth and half-truth. We are seeing a lot of things happening in the broad-based government, and who is speaking the truth, who is fooling who is, you know, there is just so much. It's a buffet of so many things happening in the political arena. Justina, since we met here almost 2.5 weeks ago, what are some of the key highlights that you've picked so far to this end?
I've picked that ODM is trying to come back or to be relevant.
Yeah.
Considering the last time I was here during Mandamano, the youth were not, the Mandamano were not called by ODM at any point. I remember they're the ones who used to call for demonstrations. So I feel they realize their irrelevance. And that's why we are having this conversation that the SG is trying to say that they need to leave that agreement with Kenya Kwanza. They're looking for relevance and they're trying to come back to the hearts of Kenyans, which I think that ship sailed a while back. Yes. Okay.
Wafula?
To me, I've seen a lot is taking place, considering that last time when Sifuna was actually on the neck of the government, And people are expecting, the ODM people are expecting that the last meeting held in Kakamega, they could at least take an action to Sifuna. But what I know, when Secretary General speaks, he speaks for the party. And when you see Sifuna speaking, he's speaking for the party and the party leader. Of course, I was arguing with some of my friends that now Sifuna is crossing the red line. When Mbadi is joining in, accusing him, Wanga is accusing him. And I said, no, Sifuna is not a fool. You know, when Sifuna is taking the government on neck, actually, it is clearly that Agwambo is speaking loudly. Yeah. Agwambo is speaking loudly.
That is a perception.
And actually, no, it has been there. When you see Secretary General of ODM speaking, it is the party leader. Sometimes he cannot come up clearly, openly speaking, but he speaks through some people. I remember one Kalenjin man said that when Raila speaks through some people, Anyang' Nyong'o, Sifuna, and other people like Orenko, like that, he doesn't speak himself. So the other meeting of ODM, people thought maybe now they are going to crack the whip on Sifuna, but it wasn't. Yeah, and indeed, Raila came up on defense for Sifuna. You can see. He
said that they're going to have a disciplinary committee. Of course, they'll meet in Nairobi and decide on what to do next. But then now, what does that really show to the broad-based government?
For the broad-based government, to me, the ODM team have actually reaped a lot because you can see, for instance, so many projects are being mobilized to Nyanza region. Roads are being constructed, I know. You know, last time you saw the Jamhuri, was it Jamhuri at Homa Bay? Yeah. Where the government, in a very short span of time, they built up a good stadium, which they didn't expect to have. So broad-based government is doing well for the ODM people. You can see the Minister of Energy, what it's doing in Nyanza region is actually connecting even to the small village electricity. That is the importance and the reap of broad-based government. To me, I feel they are doing well with it. Yes?
I'll have to interrogate more about that. Justina.
They are doing it well.
Broad-based government is doing very well for ODM people.
It seems that way, but I always question what happens to the money that is disbursed to counties.
Yeah.
What happens to the money that is CDF money, NGCDF? What about the Gov't funds? Isn't that money supposed to benefit the people? They need to feel the benefits or the warmth of that money, apart from being told that government is doing something.
Yeah.
So it begs the question that until when will this country start seeing things that, oh, when you're in government is when you're benefiting? We need to also start interrogating these funds, how they're benefiting people on the ground, as opposed to waiting for, oh, we're in broad-based, now we are benefiting, or even calling for equity, because that's the point that makes it look like now other people are benefiting, others are not. We need to start asking for accountability on those funds that I've mentioned. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm asking this question is we don't know who is holding brief. Michael Agwanda is already on set. Mike, good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
After quite a long, long time.
Pretty much.
Wherever you went to, you will give us more secret. You have to show us your way. Show us your way. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Thank you so much. So we are, Justina, my question is, we are really trying to struggle to understand what is really happening in the broad-based government, because it seems that the more we move closer to the 2027 general election, more things are going to happen. And there is this notion that Raila said that he's going to stick with President William Ruto until 2027. But when you see how Sifuna speaks, where's the truth and where's the half-truth in that?
This conversation takes me back to when at one point Raila said,
yes,
Jogo ilimeza tinga. And then the tinga ikakwama kwa koya jogo. So I believe that considering that Raila has been at this game of handshakes, grand coalition, working together, he knows when to walk away. And I think from the point they saw the Mandamano, that they were not part of it, they were not needed, and it worked around the country, they felt irrelevant. And that is why maybe Raila Odinga is telling Sifuna, start making noise so that we can say the people in ODM or Kenyans, because Baba likes using Kenyans. Kenyans have said, I need to walk away from this agreement. So I think the agitation is coming to get the idea, to make it look like it's not Baba who is refusing the broad-based.
Yeah.
It is people, the ones he likes saying, Kenyans have told me. I have a feeling he wants to withdraw so they can prepare for 2027 elections. And again, as Sifuna told us that he is there, for him, he's looking at their preparation, readiness for 2027. If they stick with this broad-based government until 2027, they'll not be in a position to prepare. Again, he said he's seeing the opportunity where they can win this election. So for Baba, it's a case of, yes, I'm here playing bad cop, good cop. So him is a good cop saying I'm sticking in, but he's making Sifuna start making the conversation that Kenyans have told them to leave broad-based. And another thing, he said those who are the experts are no longer ODM people. Those are experts who went. And he went again to add that you should look at where they were in terms of their career. Were they at their peak? Were they stagnating? Was it a plateau? So when the opportunity came, would they have refused? That is the question he asked. So I have a feeling Baba wants to walk away so that he can maintain his relevance outside now the broad-based, which is unfortunate because, to be very honest, Kenyans are tired of him. He's now being coined the con man. So I think whatever they do won't have much impact. But again, when you go back to tribal numbers, it might have impact.
Okay. What kind of politics are we seeing here being played, Mike?
Being branded a con man from my sister here is rather harsh. But good morning, Victor.
Good morning.
Good morning, the viewers of KBC.
Karibu.
This is the mother of mothers
Oh,
of
yes.
all the media stations in this country. And I think it should be given the accolade it deserves.
Thank you so much.
Well, you asked about the broad-based government. I think Honorable Raila Odinga is very clear on why he came into broad-based. First of all, he said it is not him who came in, that the person who actually impressed on him to have a discussion and conversation with President Ruto was none other than former President Uhuru Kenyatta. And then the Gen Z came in, and when the Gen Z came in, something had to happen. I think you can call Honorable Raila Odinga all names we want, but one thing that he stands with is, I want a peaceful country, a country that is not destroyed by violence, street protests, a country that is not destroyed by torture, is not destroyed by forceful disappearance, a country that is not destroyed by the killing on the street. Now, up to that point, give it to him. Respectfully, give it to him. Because really, people have asked a question of what would have happened if Honorable Raila Odinga had joined the Gen Z.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll be having President Ruto today in power. I really don't think, with all honesty. We were right on the cliff there. But having him come in and say, let's have a discussion as we resolve these matters, transition into the 10-point agenda MOU that was signed. Now, that has not answered the questions of the Gen Z. And I think they're still agitated. They're still hoping that some of the questions they raise, some of the matters they raise will still be answered. The fundamental question that today perhaps we're dealing with, that said, is how is a broad-based surviving now when we are seeing a bit of a different speak from the same party, and that is ODM. As my friends here have alluded, yes, Honorable Sifuna might speak his mind. We have Babu also might speak his mind. And a number of other members of parliament that are members, are key partners of ODM. And then we have Honorable Raila Odinga coming in and saying, I am in this broad-based arrangement until 2027. I hate to hear people saying that Raila wants to leave and is just finding a reason to leave. I don't think so, because he said it himself. Raila is not a coward. If he wanted to leave, remember, he left in 2002 when he was with KANU and LDP. And he's left Kibaki in 2007, and they decided to run on their own. Raila, when he feels it's time to leave, he doesn't have to be told that it's time to leave. I think he's in here. But the most fundamental thing that must be looked into is the implementation of the 10-point agenda MOU that they signed.
Yeah.
Now, when, as my brother here has alluded, that when the Secretary General of the party speaks, then he speaks what Honorable Raila himself will speak. I want to agree with him to a certain extent. Because when you are hearing Gladys Wanga also talking and saying that the 10-point agenda have not been fully implemented, and in fact there is a committee that is being put out there to review some of the things that were agreed upon, it means that quietly there's a struggle. There's a struggle between ODM and the government to implement the 10-point agenda as they are supposed to be done. Now the question is, who is cheating you? Who? Is it ODM or is it UDA? And I think up to that point then, these people need to sit down in the interest of the country. Remember that, Victor, time is not on our side.
Yeah.
In the next 1 or so weeks or 2 weeks, we will be having just about 2 years to general election. And to me, if things are not expedited, then we might have a serious conflict ahead here in this union.
Wafula, based on what he's also said, again, we are seeing all this kind of, there's all of it, a bit of some instability. Blowing hot and cold at the same time. And when you hear Raila, the way he speaks, shakily, that one will sort out the disciplinary committee. But when Sifuna speaks, he speaks with authority and punch and power. So who do you believe?
You see, I'm a politician, Victor, I'm a politician. And sometimes when you want to put some issues out there that people should not attach you with those tough issues, you use somebody else. And that is what Raila has been doing. He's using Sifuna to air out some issues that somebody cannot stand up and point an accusing finger on Raila. So that's why when you see Sifuna articulating issues on behalf of the party, it is also on behalf of the party leader. It's very clear. And right now, like my friend has said, I want to agree with him that indeed, Raila is not moving out right now the way my sister said that he's preparing to move out like the other time over when he was with Moi and Kibaki. No, I think with my little intelligence, I see Raila want to have a good stake in the next government, not a small stake.
In the next
government? Yes.
What do you mean?
He wants a good share in the next government. He will support Ruto 2027, clearly. But now he wants to lay out the grounds on how he will support Ruto in 2027. That is the thing. When you see Sifuna airing out some hard words, putting out some tough sentiments across the country with the power, it is Raila who has told him that this is...
for clarity. So
yes.
For you, you're saying Raila will support President Ruto in 2027?
I'm telling you that. Raila, I'm very sure where I'm sitting and what I see as
on which ticket?
It will come as a collusion. It will come as a collusion. It will come as a collusion, like the way Ford Kenya did with the ANC and UDA. They came in as a collusion. But now you want to have a good stake, a good bargaining platform. But you cannot just start bargaining without first pulling strings down here first. No.
That's interesting.
Yes, that is why you saw...
One is restless to answer to that.
That is why
Yes.
Sifuna said that, who sent you people to say that we are not going to have a candidate in 2027? You see that? he was trying to preempt the movement, what he's putting across. But in this case, I see very well, and you will see, Victor, we are here. I've been in this table for quite some time, and whatever I air out here, this media, it comes to pass. And this one, Victor, you called me after 2027, or approaching 2027 when the collusion are being made. You'll be asking me, how did you know? But right now, it is very difficult right now for Raila to revamp and start campaigning for his presidential candidates. Yes.
Okay.
With the mood right now.
Mike, what did you want to say?
Well, I don't know where he gets his facts. I don't speak for Raila.
No, you said from this small intelligence he has.
Yeah, I don't speak for Raila.
We need to ask him.
I said my little intelligence.
The only thing I can say, Victor, is very, very clear. Raila said I will be with Ruto until 2027.
Correct.
2027 is January up to December. There's January, there's February, there's March, August, when we're having an election. And he can decide to leave in January. He can decide to leave in February. And he can decide to go. He's not saying that I will support Ruto in 2027. And I think this is incumbent upon this MOU that is signed. Because, listen, Raila always runs to the people. And take this to the bank. When he feels that a place is not conducive for the people, he tends to run to the people. As to whether he will run to the people that will be running towards President Ruto in 2027, that's a question to be discussed. And that's a question that he himself can be the one to decide. Remember, the Nyachai factor, Victor, you've been in this politics for quite a long time. Nyachai was supposed to be endorsed by Honorable Raila Odinga.
Yeah.
And then when it came to the last minute, he said, Kibaki Tosha. And for that reason, he knew that Kibaki was the right person at that particular time. Raila has not told us that I will endorse President Ruto in 2027.
What's the reason?
No, I think this is something that politicians always put something on their sleeve to use as the last card, definitely. But I think what he's looking for is how do we move into, remember, NADCO report had been there and has not been implemented. We have the MOU that has not been implemented. Now, quietly, they're discussing these things in their forums, and they're saying, what is the best way to go out of this so that the government implements some of the few things that we put our, pen to paper on. And I think that's the most important thing that need to be the pointer as to whether Raila will hold on being in the handshake or not.
I want to take a break. We are three men here. We need to serve Justin a tea. We are good people. Some coffee.
Yeah.
All right?
All of us?
I'll take care of it. I'll pay the bill. We'll be right back. Remember Chaniko KBC. Stay with us. Welcome back, and all of us have cups of tea. This is a breakfast show. Let's enjoy the show together. Karibuni. Now, Justin, let me come back to you. So we have a scenario where now we have got these two gentlemen who signed a working memorandum. The paperwork was done in broad daylight, but the 10-point agenda, which is supposed to be articulated fully, according to Sifuna, these 10-point agenda are not being articulated supposed to be. And perhaps this is the biggest issue with Sifuna, or based on what he's been saying all along, that they signed a memorandum of understanding to support one another until 2027. But now the biggest issue is the 10-point agenda. When you hear some members of ODM speaking that Sifuna is disrespecting the party, Baba saying that we will review Sifuna's sentiments and call him to the disciplinary committee and then make a decision. When you hear the president saying that, we are the pioneers of the party, these are three heavy things at once. What would you carry that as a person who's been at the topmost part of political contest?
Like I said, they have realized that the people have left. Michael, Baba can't run to the people. The people ran away from Baba. People are tired. They ran away from him. So that is where the issue is. Even then they're politicians and they're looking for self-preservation as ODM, considering they marked 20 years the other day. Sifuna is the one who is the conscious eye, who is telling ODM, guys, working with this blood-based, as he now calls it, is a risk. It is a risk to our party and survival of our party. So when I see they are started looking for, it's like when you don't want your spouse, so you start looking for issues, ndio muachane, unajua, you're looking. So that's what they are doing.
Yeah.
And Baba can't do it himself. And I'm not saying he's a coward, but with age, he's also realized he can't be as aggressive as he used to be. So he has younger people like Sifuna to speak for him. And when we even told that they'll do a disciplinary, I mean, it's just kufunga too much so that people like Aladwa can just forget about the issues that brought up. And you remember he said that the reason they're going through the party channels is to avoid the conversation on newspapers and news. That is why Baba said, let's deal with the party internal dispute resolution mechanisms. So when I look at all this, the issue is self-preservation and to go back to the hearts of Kenyans who unfortunately have moved on. When you look at even that argument that 10-point agenda is not working, I tend to agree. Badi came and told us we can no longer sustain free education. And remember, the challenge they're facing is that right now, government is supposed to pay 72.7 billion. But what they have committed is 61.9 billion.
Yeah.
That means close to 677 pupils, 677,000 pupils in Kenya are not fully sponsored, or they're not getting the share of the money that is required. But you know, after that, he went and said he was misquoted. So it means when ODM is trying to give their expertise, they are being pulled back and told, no, wacha kusema hivyo, we are committed to free primary education. Unfortunately, the money is not there. And again, that is another question that Kenyans are asking. Where is this money going? There is overtaxation. We are not seeing any projects going on. So the conflict comes in that maybe what they had intended to achieve, maybe even the stability, they have come to realize it's not working out with this administration. Remember, even there's an MP who told the ODM people, if you've never won an election, you can't come here to purport to advise us. Remember, they were told that they need to behave. So there's internal wrangles, and I think that's why they want to divorce, looking for a simple reason to divorce and move out. And the agent of divorce, unfortunately, is the SG of ODM, Sifuna.
Okay. You know, there are so many intrigues when it comes to politics, Mike. And let's just come to it. We've seen how politics is being played in this country for a very long time. And then now, the other side of Kenya Kwanza is quiet. They're not talking. Why do you think that is happening?
What Maya says, and I like how she talks, because she's been around for some time.
Yeah.
That what Maya says that the people ran away from Baba a long time ago. The way Baba has morphed in politics is one way that has baffled many, many people. We're talking about coming out of 82 coup, moving on to multi-party, moving on to Ford Kenya, Ford, moving on to LDP, moving on to Pentagon, moving on to NASA, moving on to all manner of things. And these are ideas that Baba has come with for generation and generation. It is true that it is not as rosy as it's been in the past, as Wamai might want me to say. But the reality is, now we have intergenerational, discourse in the open to be considered, when you see this idea as it's being brought in a timely manner that requires the attention of the people. And you can hear that those are, that is what people now are trying to discuss. The only question that people are asking, when you bring this intergenerational discussion that we're talking about, what about these things that have been agreed upon during this government and have not been implemented? That is the fundamental question. Even if you have this intergenerational discussion that we'll be having, but will it be implemented?
Yeah.
Now, an idea is as good as the person that is driving it. For example, in this case, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga might be driving this intergenerational discussion, but the question is, who is the implementer? He says he's not in government. He just offered professionals in government. That means the implementer is the president, not the executive.
Yeah.
Now, do they have the goodwill of implementing these things, including the NADCO, including the 10-point agenda, and now intergenerational discussion? Now, if that is not exposed well, then it will look just just like another political gimmick to put us through the general election while people are still discussing things before any of these things are discussed. My point is very, very clear. This government must be seen to be responding to some of the things that have been put to pen and paper to gain the trust from the people. And those are things that are not limited to things that the president said, that there will be no abduction again. Those are things that the president has even talked about, like yesterday. There will be free education that will not interfere with the right of the students. Those are things that also talks about the police excesses in this country, as we've seen.
Yeah.
Those are things that goes with affordable food, the infrastructure in this country. A place where you can get employment without knowing somebody. Well, we just saw a story few months ago when TSC had given politicians, forms to be given to teachers, and they were dishing them in Rift Valley in funerals. You can see that the institutions will be respected for that reason. Those are things that need to be done because, again, President Ruto needs votes in 2027.
I ask a question, and perhaps all of you can answer. Why do you think that Kenya Kwanza is quiet and you're not responding to Sifuna directly?
Kenya Kwanza is quiet because that is not within their fold. If ODM have issues,
yes,
they're exposing those issues to us. We don't want to be part of it. We don't want to respond to it. Other than the spokesperson, of course, we've seen, our friend Owino,
yes,
former police spokesman, really defending it. A number of people that have been put there that are responding on the set, but then they've not taken a position because their position is very clear. It's not what Sifuna says. It's not what the other ODM says. It is what Raila says.
Thank you.
Until Raila says it, they feel, well, we are waiting, and that is why they're quiet.
Wafula, why do you think Kenya Kwanza is not responding to...
Now, even before I go to that, I think now my friend has come in my support. What Sifuna says is what Raila is saying. That's a fact. So don't wait disciplinary action to Sifuna.
Okay.
Don't wait, because you'll be just wasting your time. Now, let me say about what you're asking, that the Kenya Kwanza is quiet because right now they are trying to marry ODM into the party. However, they continue kicking, but they want humbly to bring them into a coalition towards 2027. That's why they are quiet. They can't respond harshly to Sifuna. They don't want to respond in a heavy term to Sifuna, because Sifuna is driving a point that, as we are discussing behind the camera, that Raila have seen those appointment from the mountain hanging. The appointment the Rigiji was given with Ruto, this government. Now those appointments are hanging. And Raila is very clever. He wants to grab them.
What do you mean he wants to grab them?
He wants to grab them towards 2027 election by having a coalition.
As a political move?
Yes. Of course, they'll make up another political outfit. Not Kenya Kwanza. Kenya Kwanza will not be there. They are going to form another political outfit, whereby Raila now will want to claim, because he sees the mountain has gone. He has tried to bring in a movement of ODM. Nyanza, part of course, and some of Nairobi region. He feels that he has a big stake also. If those hanging positions, the Rigiji decided to leave in the government, if he can grab them, it will be good for him. He's very clever, he has seen. So that is why you can see Sifuna sending some harsh words to the government, criticizing the government of the day. But I remember there is a time Sifuna with Aaron Cheriot went with the same chopper. But when you see them on the platform, accusing one another, you might think that these people, they'll end up in physical fight. But no. They came with the same chopper, Aaron Cheriot with Sifuna. They left together, joking, laughing. You know, they know what they are doing. This is politics.
Okay.
Politics has no permanent enemy, my friend.
And that we have permanent friends.
Victor, they are not quiet. Remember Mkarabati Sudi has told us that Sifuna wanted 300 million.
What did you just call Mheshimiwa
He
Sudi?
says it's called Engineer Mkarabati Sudi. He said that Sifuna is bitter because he had demanded for 300 million. He was never
He
given.
made that assertion over the weekend, yes.
Yes. So they are not quiet. They're also responding to him. Maybe it was not intended or it was not the right course of action as discussed by Kenya Kwanza, but engineers would decide that. So maybe it's diffusing the conversation that maybe Sifuna is not all innocent. Maybe he's as bitter as Rigathi Gachagua, who is now fighting the current administration. And then something else that Michael said is that when Baba calls for intergenerational conversation, there is political goodwill. There is no political goodwill because there is no goal congruence. What Baba is proposing and what the youth want is just they simply want the job done. Look at today's paper. We are being told that 67% of youth are unemployed. 67%. If you look at it in simple terms, it maybe means you will even get to 67 years without getting a job if we continue as it is. And that is why I'm saying Baba has realized the youth, who are now the majority as it's told, have moved away from him, and that voting bloc has moved away from him.
Yeah.
And not to say that the youth are saying they're going to vote for Rigathi Gachagua or the opposition. They're also saying we're looking for someone who is offering solutions to our problems, which includes a labor market that is not working. So I believe even that intergenerational conversation should not be a point to discuss. Baba has members of parliament. He should have a conversation with them and ask them, at your level, at strategic decision level where you make choices, what are your proposals to solutions to these problems? They're supposed to use their brain. That is why they're paid a lot of money. It is assumed at that level, they're supposed to give a strategic direction and vision of this country. They are the ones who should be advising. When you're told about experts that they're not working or it's not working out for them or they have no space or latitude to perform, it is unfair because then we as the taxpayers, we are losing the money we are paying them as salaries. They're not operational people at Watu wa Mkono. They're supposed to use their brains to give us the vision and direction of this country, to deal with issues which particularly is unemployment for the youth. And they're always arguing, we are on the streets because we've gone to school, we don't have jobs, we don't have opportunities. And again, something the youth are questioning, when we call for this intergenerational conversation, who is going to be, how are they going to pick this youth to have a conversation? Obviously, people know Baba, when he's given an opportunity, he gives his daughter, his brothers, his sisters. So people are thinking he might go and get those 40,000 who are being told, might be his even clansmen. So he's not seen as a champion for the issues of the people on the ground. And that is why I said the people have run away from him. They see him as somebody who benefits himself and his family. So what they should be doing now, whether they're in government or not or in opposition, they need to start having the conversation of giving solutions to the problem at hand. People do not want to talk. People are tired. Even NADCO did not even have the benefit because people asking after NADCO, how am I putting ugali on my table?
Yeah.
How am I going to hospital? How am I paying school fees? The issue is mufukoni, there is no money.
Okay. Then the question is that, again, all of you should answer this question to me. If the binding document is there until 2027, then what is the harm of Raila Odinga withdrawing from the coalition or from the MOU?
You know, when Raila withdrew from MOU, at this point of time, it will be difficult for him to sell his agenda to the public when already the opposition have dignified themselves.
So it will be difficult for him to sell himself.
To bring another force again,
Okay.
to be the three force,
Okay.
then it will not work so easily for him at this time. Remember, this country for the last 2 years now, we've been 1.5 years, we have been in full campaign mode. Full campaign mode. And now when we are in full campaign mode, don't think that most of our progress can be done by the government, no.
Yeah.
Though the government is trying anyway, from where I sit, I see they are trying. Because with this campaign mode, and you are building Atalanta Stadium, with this campaign mode, you are building some stadiums in some counties. With this campaign mode, you are trying to employ teachers, that number. It's not so easy. It's not so easy. And remember the last stadium, the two regimes have been there, they have never built a stadium since Moi built Kasarani up to date is when Ruto has built Talanda.
That was to be fair, it also started during last regime.
Which one? Talanda?
Talanda, yes.
No, Talanda is this financial year. I mean this regime, which has poured more money there for Talanda. It's true.
Okay.
And now, when I see that Raila can pull out of this negotiation table with Ruto, forming another third force, the third force right now, it will be weaker. Yes, because though there is this another force headed by Rigiji, which is being criticized left, right, and center. I saw Rigiji in US, a young girl asking Rigiji that stop showing yourself to be a tribe leader. If you want the top seat, try to be a national leader. Stop taking agenda of mountain. If the Coastarian can also start moving aside and forming a force like we are Coastarian, the Westerners and the Nyanza people, then Rift Valley people, then the country will be divided. Try to be a national leader. That girl posed that question and Rigiji was unable to respond vividly.
Perhaps there's a reason to why he's doing that.
It was difficult, yeah. And that was a fact.
Yeah.
So right now, when you think of another force towards 2027 election, I think it will not work. If you want to remove Ruto, you form another force, it will be impossible.
All right. Mike, what if Baba withdraws from the agreement? Because people are saying that Raila will leave. So what if he leaves then? We've seen him leave several arrangements before.
Raila is probably the only consistent politician we've had in this country that leaves one party and goes with another party to an election and become the horse that is against the president. Two horses, and everybody else is donkey. Now, when Raila leaves now, the question that you put on the table, when Raila leaves now, a question that perhaps we need to ask ourselves is how exposed is UDA, and who are they going to team up with to go to the national election? Because if UDA goes by itself and Raila on the other side and the Wamunyoros also the other side, then we'll be having a very conflicted election, an election that will have issues. The only thing that we've seen is Raila has not said that he wants to run for president. And therefore, I'm left to wonder, if he leaves, then who is he going to support? Is it going to be Kalonzo Musyoka? Because Rigiji is saying, Rigiji is saying, I am not going to be on the ballot box. That's what Rigiji is saying. And so that means that
he has not announced fully. When he was abroad, he said that he's a front runner. You heard it.
He said that, and then subsequently he actually said that he might not be the one there, that they will choose the right person to be in the ballot box. So if that is the case, then who in Rigidi's side is going to be the flag bearer of that party? Now, if Rigidi becomes a flag bearer of the party, we might have issues. We might have issues. We might have Ruto go back to become the president, especially if Raila supports Ruto. Now remember that there's this notion that Raila is so weakened and that the people have run away from him and that he has no people, like my sister Justina is saying. Well, the Gen Z might not want to even consider Raila. And I think Raila is aware about that. But there's still the old folks that still believe in the old hands on the deck. That old folk can still, and Raila has voters all over the country. If today you put Raila and William Somaya Ruto and say the two are the ones you have on the ballot box, I can tell you that it will be a hugely contested election again, just like it was before in 2022. You cannot rule that out. He still has people. The question is Raila able to go back to the Wamunyoro camp, the partners that he had in the opposition, because that's where Martha Karua is. That is where Kalonzo Musyoka.
I don't think it will be so hard for him to go back. Remember what they've been saying, that ODM is the biggest party, the oldest party. So having that movement to Wamunyoro side.
These people have supported Raila Amolo Odinga. There could be a change of heart. You cannot say that that cannot happen. And again, we've said that politics is where there's no permanent enemies.
Maybe just
so
maybe
it's possible
a river joining the ocean.
Raila might decide that I'm going to support somebody, a presidential flag bearer. And who is this person I'm not running? Is it Ruto, or is it Kalonzo Musyoka, as they say now on the other side, or is it whoever is going to be on the other side? Now, whoever he decides to support in 2027, that individual, if it's not William Somai Ruto, that will be a very, very formidable force and competition for the government. And that is why the government is quieter. Because one, the Munyoro side have not given them a candidate. Two, Raila has not said that he's running.
Yes.
So they are safe. And they don't want to talk loud now, because if they talk loud, they might interfere with the relationship with Raila. That exposes them. And they also don't know who is going to be the other side. And if they don't know, then that in itself is a very serious political calculation, because you also don't want to sever your relationship with the other side 100%. And that is perhaps the reason why they've not arrested Wamunyoro up to today, because you don't know who is going to be the president, and will he come from this side or from the other side. And if that happens, how will they treat you in 2027?
It's very true. And just to echo
good observation,
to echo my friend.
I want to bring in Justina.
Just to echo my friend, because right now, the way you've said, I think Raila wants to be a beautiful girl in the village, not on any other boy, either this boy or this boy. He wants to be a beautiful single lady in the village.
Oh my goodness!
So that if this group feel like they want to seduce because he has the body, the figure, and everything. So, so if the UDA will seduce...
I just want you to know that is not the language of
No.
That is our language.
If the UDA want to seduce Raila, a beautiful girl, a single beautiful girl in the village, they'll put something
but he's also
good
very
on the
much
table.
he is also very much aware of any other move ahead of 2027. Not that they are not in communication. He's, we just made a joke that he's an engineer by profession, but we've never seen him anywhere practicing engineering. This is what he's been doing. So he knows what's coming.
Yes.
He knows what's coming. Yeah. I want to bring it, Justina, because I think we're running out of time. Now, the question is, Justina, the same question. What if he pulls out of the coalition right now? And remember, allow me to provoke this. There is Uhuru Kenyatta factor. That court case was also given and is not spoken yet. I don't know whether it is the right time to throw that as well. Because we have Rigiji in the mountain and so many things happening in Chinyamaji. Go ahead.
There is no harm for Baba withdrawing now, because maybe, as Sifuna is saying, it gives the party time to prepare for 2027. I think that is of his own benefit. But I want Kenyans to realize that we need to move away from a two-horse race. What is ailing this country is that people focus on two-horse race. You don't want to listen to policy proposals. You don't want to listen to what someone is saying. You want to focus on the person. And if that person wins, you never get to ask yourself, how am I benefiting?
Yes.
I've always told Kenyans that politicians maximize on votes, but we citizens are supposed to maximize on the benefit of having that politician there. And having that politician there is how they influence and shape policies and legislations that make life easier for you. Wafula, you have said that there is no third force. And I want to tell Kenyans, at this point, we have the government. And we have those who are in opposition. There were Munyoros and everyone who are always just opposing everything. They don't give us a solution. And then there comes the third force. People like myself, the alternative, where we are focusing on giving solutions. We are telling Kenyans, we know the problem now is economic. And that is why I'm a champion for economic democracy. Victor, because I realize when you're analyzing the civilization of nations, you look at the political pillar, social and economic. All other aspects we've tried to exhaust and we are way ahead. But our economic solutions are rudimentary, they're basic. That is why you hear when maybe Michael gets a position, everyone from the village wants Michael to get them a job, which is not possible. So how are we going to create opportunities so that even when Michael is sitting at that position, he doesn't feel the pressure to employ people from his village, and then people start saying this tribe is in government, these ones are not in government. So the alternative right now is what this country needs, and I argue that we need to move away from that old folk thinking, as Michael is telling us, that we need two-horse races. It is beyond the two horses. It is beyond who has the policies, the solutions, the legislations that make life easier for this generation. And let me add that we are focusing on the future, Victor. We have survived 62 years. At this point, Kenya is 62 years. We need to thrive the next 60. And how are we going to thrive? How are we going to live and ensure that even the future generations, when they come, they'll know that I'm going to school, not just to get a job, I can use my skills to do something with my skills. So at this point, when you hear that even KBC is saying people didn't apply to go to university, it should be a point of worrying to us. What does that mean? When you see someone is saying, why should I go to school and I won't get a job? It is a point of worrying to this future generation. Because when we who are educated are done because of natural attrition, and then what becomes of the country? We'll have vienyeji people, wakarabati doing things, and then those are the people who are minding our pesa ya wazee. How are they going to distribute for us when we're old? So those are the questions.
I want to fill your cup.
Okay.
That would mean we take a break.
Yes.
Are we okay, gentlemen?
No problem.
Very
I
good.
need to respond to her.
We'll be right back with more. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. So, Mike, you said you are rattled in a way. You want to respond to Justina?
No. The brilliance of Justina is no doubt.
Good.
But the only thing that I have to tell her is just talking about the two-horse race. I just want to tell her that politically, that is what it is. In the United States of America, we have the blue and the red, the Democrats and the Republicans. And you can see that every other force that has tried to come in has never been entrenched into the people. And perhaps it's coming and they just die. The independence has not really found their way. You know, when she talks about the third force, I totally agree with her that the third force is needed in this country, because sometimes when you have the two bad people on the ballot, then you're left with no choice. But I just want to tell her, I want her to look at me. I want to tell her that the third force is not her. It's not just in our mind.
Who is
the third force? And I'm glad you asked that question. Is a Gen Z. And that third force that is called Gen Z, if they organize themselves well, are going to have MCAs of their own. They're going to have MPs of their own. They're going to have governors of their own, senators of their own, and even a president. I'm not saying that one of them will be the president, but whoever they will support will be the president. And so the third force is already there. How it can be packaged to go, because the projection is about 6 to 7 million new voters coming in. And majority of those voters might surprisingly be the Gen Z. And so there will be a huge third force out there and a factor. As you walk out here, Victor, you realize that people are not just talking about Honorable Ruto or President Ruto and the Wamunyoro side. No. Or even Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga on the other hand. There's now a few guys that are coming on this competition that are hugely respected. Maraga, for example, is coming in and is hugely respected. Is touching. As you talk to people out there, some people will tell you, well, I don't know about this Maraga guy, but I feel like he's the one I'm going to vote for. You know, it's still early in the game, but you can see that his name is starting to come in. We have also a group of people that are thinking that former CS of Interior from KC, you know, might just be a possible candidate. This will develop in the next few months here as things shape up. And so there's a third force, and this third force must be respected. This third force must be looked into keenly, because most likely, and just like what is happening in Nairobi, you've had Honorable Babu Owino saying, I will be on the ballots for gubernatorial position in whether ODM gives me the ticket or not. So you can see that the people are starting to say, look, if I have an electorate that can elect me, and basing on the Gen Z, if the Gen Z follows me up, then I really don't care what the other people are saying. So that in itself, in my view, is a third force that must be reckoned with.
The question again, I think this one also goes to all of you, and I like it that way, because when you see whatever is happening in the coalition, Sifuna speaking of this end, and everything in between, how will the union between Raila and President William Ruto shape 2027? Justina?
I'm happy if they are together, then it removes the oldies from influencing politics, because Kenyans, okay, many of the younger Kenyans are saying...
Okay, let's assume the relationship is intact until 2027.
And then they won't go to the election together.
Thank you, yes. How will it shape the whole scenario then?
I think the voters will be confused. And that is why I said it's time for now Baba to move. Now, if he's moving, he should move now so that he can declare his stand and the voters can decide where they are voting. If he leaves in 2027, some of the people who love him, some people hate him, some people who voted for him are saying they won't vote for him because he's in blood-based government. But if he moves now, he's able to redeem himself. But if he moves at that time again, those who loves him to death might vote for him, and they had said they're not going to vote for him. So I think there's some confusion. There's going to be confusion at that time if he leaves. And again, I don't know whether he has any influence, but remember, Sifuna is arguing that they need to prepare their party for 2027.
Which silent they are. They're doing grassroots engagements.
But Sifuna feels maybe Baba being in blood-based government, it is affecting how they are doing their preparation. Because why is he really insisting that we need to prepare ourselves? Baba being in there until 2027 is an encumbrance, or it's a limitation for their preparation. So, but if he leaves, then clearly the side of President Ruto will be exposed. Remember, he's lost a chunk of the people who got him the votes in 2022. So and maybe he might try. It's going to expose the president. I think the president is going to lose. So if he's cutting out Raila, he better cut him out now so that he prepares himself without relying on someone who is not really speaking their heart towards 2027.
Okay, Wafula.
I think I'll differ with my sister a little bit, because to me, if Baba leaves Ruto towards 2027, and you know Ruto, what he has done, he has tried to bring the Westerners together, the Westerners people together. That is the Luhya community. He's trying to bring the Luhya community. As you can see, the last weekend, this weekend, so many activities were in Western. If Ruto concentrate with Western people and try to do, to borrow a leaf from Kibaki, what he did with Mike Wamalwa Kijana. He took Mike Wamalwa Kijana to be his running mate. That was the time when the Luhya votes counted. And if he can make that mistake to pick one from the Luhya land, then you will see a change in voting from Western. That's one. Two, of course, you saw last time when Kibaki took Wamalwa Kijana, the Western people voted massively. Voted massively, and that's when Kibaki enjoyed that vote. They had no dispute at all. But when he took somebody else, later on, you saw there was some dispute. But now, if Ruto can go with that in that line, and then accumulate the Rift Valley votes and other votes from Eastern, and a little bit from somewhere else. And then the way my friend was saying, there is another third force of Gen Zs, Gen Zs, which actually were refugees relying on that Gen Z is supporting us, is backing us. And Gen Z pulls out from refugee team, then Ruto will definitely win. That's a fact. That's a fact, my friend. You'll ask me this after 2027. Here, I'll be alive, and I'm very sure I'll be.
We will be here.
God's grace, I'll be here, and you will be asking me, how did you know?
A Gen Z
just like when I told you that last time that the parliament is going to vote out.
There's a Gen Z there. There's a Gen Z here.
Yeah, they are there. They are listening.
Yeah, he's smiling at that statement.
These people, they are going to vote, and right now, I know.
Yeah.
When we enter into full campaign trail, you will see people shifting. Most of the people shift, even including these Gen Zs. So, and one thing, you know, I'm an intelligent person. That is my core. And when I move around, I hear people talking. We want somebody else, but not refugee, because again, leadership going back to the mountain. But Rigiji, from where I sit, he is the front runner. He said that in the US, that if they will give me this position, I'll drive Ruto like a stolen bicycle. That's what he said. But not knowing what people are thinking down here, with Rigiji, Ruto will be in a comfort zone. He's not even campaign fully. That is the fact.
And they're aware about that.
And they're aware about that.
So what would happen? 2027 is here, and the two gentlemen, how will they shape the election?
I think, let's be factual. Though politics sometimes, facts is put under the table. If Raila and William Samoei Ruto are together in 2027, and then you have the Wamunyoro side deciding that we will not have Rigiji as a presidential candidate but somebody else, we have a two-horse race. No doubt about that.
Correct.
The question then you want to ask yourself is, if Raila decides to bolt out in 2027 and endorses somebody else who is not William Samoei Ruto, does that person pose a high chance of winning the election? Yes. It poses a very high chance of winning the election.
Yeah.
Then the question you're asking yourself again is, who is this individual? I want to say this, that Wamai said something, and I tend to agree with her on certain things. But you know, if this, drawing the analogy of Uhuru Kenyatta supporting Raila Amolo Odinga, and Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga even referring to Uhuru Kenyatta, that is owing to 2022, as my party leader. As the chairman, I think chairman of my party or something like that. Remember that in itself made the votes from the mountain run away from Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Then you want to ask yourself, Victor, is the politics of endorsement in 2027, specifically towards the president from Raila Amolo Odinga, going to bear fruits or not? Now, Raila will know that if I support William Samoei Ruto, with a little bit of dissent that I'm seeing from the Gen Z and many other quarters, is it going to be a viable thing or not? Now, this broad-based government might be just for political survival up to 2027, if that will be the case. In other words, if it is just something to take us up to the next election, that will work. But what about if Raila pulls out and says, I will support Ruto?
Yeah.
Will the followers of Raila Amolo Odinga support Ruto? He's brought in a very good discussion about the Western Kenya, Westerners,
Yes.
But I want to talk about the former Kakamega province, which was the entire area. They are the second largest voters in the whole country, only following the mountain, which is now disputed as to whether they have those votes or not, because they're saying a lot of those votes. And if it is a fact that that dispute see the light of the day, then Western Kenya is the largest voting bloc they have.
But
the question, therefore, that he wanted to throw in, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Which fact?
The question.
You just proceed.
The question
you are actually on the point. You are on the point.
They throw in is that who will be the running mate or a presidential flag bearer coming from? If he comes from Western Kenya, we'll give him all our votes.
Correct.
And if Ruto decides that I'm still
he
going
makes
to
that
keep
mistake
myself
Western,
with the current
to
deputy
pick
president,
a running mate?
Yes, from Western.
Yes.
Get the point, Victor. He's
getting
putting up a clear point. If he makes that mistake, my friend, just go on.
I think this gentleman is going to take over your job.
My job is at stake at this point.
Let me explain something, which is a fact. All these presidential candidates, if we had one that is coming from Western,
yes,
I can guarantee you that you lose those 4 million votes from Western province, former Western province. But if William Samoei Ruto also decided that I will go with Kindiki or somebody from Central, or especially let's pull Central, that will not bring him votes.
Correct.
That will not. And I can tell you for free, that is what we had with Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and Martha Karua. Did you see votes from the mountain? No. So then the guys, have to decide whether they are having a deputy president coming from Western or a presidential candidate coming from Western,
yes,
so that you can start with the entire block of about 4 million. That is key, because even if Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga decides to support William Samoei Ruto, wholesomely, I can tell you that there were about 65% or so that, about 35% or so that did not vote for Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga.
Correct.
On the Nyanza region.
Yeah.
Now, what if he decides that he's supporting Ruto? How many more will now decide, I'm not going to vote for him if Raila Amolo Odinga is on the ballot? Remember, things are at stake if Raila Amolo Odinga is not on the ballot. His traditional voters might not necessarily want to vote where he's giving us a direction.
Which, as per the last election, is 7.9. Yeah.
Just to add on what he has spoken, you know, is now, my friend, you've spoken like an investigator like me. You know, if
not as a politician.
You remember when Kibaki chose Kijana Wamalwa, Michael Wamalwa Kijana, as his running mate. That was the time Mudavadi lost his seat. And you know, Mudavadi is powerful, but he lost the seat. Why? The Luya vote actually were counted in one basket of Mike Kibaki. If this time round, you know, right now the mountain is shaking. Actually, if we go to election right now, Kindik will not raise even a million from the mountain, sincerely speaking. But if Ruto
Politics, everything is possible.
Makes this decision of picking one person like Wetangula from Western to be his running mate, you will see the Luya votes counted in one basket. Come 2027, you will see the votes from Luya, more than 4 million. Actually, right now, we are leading numbers. We are leading numbers. The numbers is no more in Central.
Okay.
Now, if they do that, and with the Central votes, then he will just need some little touch-up to win election. That's all.
Victor, they tell us that madness is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same results. What has this conversation of tribe, or where has it gotten us? And you know, unfortunately, you oldies are the ones who are bringing this conversation. And the youth and the Gen Zs are saying it needs to go beyond Justina is Kikuyu. So what?
No, on that point, you remember when the changes.
Victor, you need to protect me. Wafula is interrupting me, and I was keeping quiet when he was having a conversation. Wafula, write down your point. And Michael, remember when you say that Mount Kenya, the problem at that time, Raila had Martha as the running mate. Nyanza gave Raila Amolo Odinga 751,000 votes. Mount Kenya gave Raila Amolo Odinga 1.1 million votes. So you cannot go and say that Mount Kenya did. They supported Baba, those ones who felt that the 6,000 he had promised them was working for them. So I want Kenyans to move away this conversation of the Luya vote, the Who vote, the Kikuyu vote. We need to start looking at, as it is now when the economy is not working for everyone, when parents are paying school fees and their children are not employed, when there's police brutality, when there's abduction, when there's all these things that are happening, which solutions are going to help us? The solutions come from intelligence, the brain. It doesn't matter what tribe. In fact, everyone has gone to school in Kenya, unfortunately for those marginalized areas. The conversation should be which policies are we fronting beyond the tribe conversation. And that is when I think the generational gap comes in here, and we are stuck with what the Gen Zs do not want. Victor.
Okay. So here we are. Before we go to Kisumu, I want to... The aspect of, you know, gently, I want us to go to Kisumu very briefly, but then the question I should ask, we have how many regions how many counties in Western? We have Vihiga, which is Busia. Vihiga is under ODM, right?
Yes.
Busia?
Busia under ODM.
Kakamega?
Kakamega under ODM.
ODM. We have Bungoma,
yes,
which is under?
Ford Kenya.
Ford Kenya. Yeah. And then we have the other side of Trans Nzoia.
Yes.
Okay. So that's 5 counties,
yes,
in the Western region.
Yeah.
And based on what we've seen, how the Luya unity that we've been talking about for years, Wafula.
No, let me tell you
And
that.
probably what happened because of Kijana Wamala Kijana way back then might not happen this time around.
No, let me tell you.
You've really tried.
The problem is
bring
we have never
the unity.
had a presidential candidate.
Okay.
Why?
We have never had a
Let's
running mate.
let's cross over to Kisumu. Simon, we'll come back to that. The Luya unity is quite elusive, Wafula. My colleague Simon Acholi is in Kisumu. Let's talk about local talent.